Let's get into the conversation about the history of colorism in the United States of America. Come on. I will always maintain the stance that colorism is a byproduct of racism. And as it mirrors in our society today, being light-skinned has its advantages and its privileges. During the era of chattel slavery in the United States of America, it was often seen as beneficial to be of lighter complexion. One, because of your proximity to the plantation owner. These people were more likely to be manumitted, which is essentially freed of slavery. You also had access to education, and you also had access to learning trades. And to clarify, what I meant by proximity to the plantation owner is a lot of those mixed race kids were likely his children or his family's children. After the abolition of slavery and during the Reconstruction era, we saw this huge socioeconomic boom in the African American community. And side note, a lot of people would say that Jim Crow was the response to said economic boom, but that's another video. During that small window of time after the abolition of slavery and before the implementation of Jim Crow laws, Black people thrived. We actually gained some footing in this country and even had Black people being voted into office. But the gag is a lot of the people who were promoted to positions of power were light-skinned and mixed race people, like Mr. Blanche Bruce, who was a Republican United States Senator, or Mr. John Langston, who was an African-American member of Congress during this time. And there was a reason for this. Mixed race people intentionally created these social programs that othered themselves from monoracial, unambiguous Black people. And they were called the Blue Vein Societies. And you're probably like, why the hell were they called the Blue Vein Societies? Because if they couldn't see your veins through the skin, you weren't allowed within their social group. And you're probably like, why does anybody care about being a part of somebody's social group? These social groups denied admittance to fraternities, sororities, higher education, employment, and churches even for dark-skinned Black people. In tandem with the Blue Vein Societies, there was also something known as the paper bag test. And if you weren't the same color or lighter than this paper bag, you were also denied admittance. These ideas have followed us into modern day. And that is what we formally know now as colorism. I mean, I'm not immune to it. Like, I've heard family members of mine say colorist things, and I always have to check them. So hopefully now that we have all gained the knowledge of the history of colorism, we can all collectively put in the work to unlearn our internalized anti-Blackness. I'll meet you guys there next week, 7 o'clock.